Are you sick and tired of being low elo? Do you feel like you're hard stuck and you have no idea what to do to get out of your low rank? Well, I will teach you how to become a low elo crusher. And I will be passing down all of my tips and tricks that I've acquired after playing this game for 9 years. My name is Phoenix, and I have been a high elo League of Legends player for about the last 4 years. And I have achieved high elo on many different accounts and many different characters and on 3 different roles. As you can see, I've gotten win rates as high as 80%, 65%, doing it on several characters. So make sure you pay attention, and make sure you like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the video. Tip number 1, we have character selection. It's very important that we pick a character that has a lot of things, okay? The most important number 1 thing is early game. We want an early game character that has really good traits. Why? Because we want to win the game as fast as possible, and we want to get elite as fast as possible. We're not trying to scale. We're not playing for late. We're playing for early. We're playing for lane dominance. I've made a tier list of all the characters I think are really good in solo queue for their respective roles. And we're going to start off with top lane. We have characters like Renekton, Pantheon, Riven, all at the top. High mobility, high damage. They get leads really easily, they win trades really hard, and when they have a lead, they're obnoxious to fight. Everyone has fought a fed Riven. We all know how that feels. Well, we want to become that fed Riven. We want to become that fed Renekton. We want to be tower diving our opponent. We want to be harassing them when they get to lane. We want to be 1v2ing, right, when the jungler comes. All these characters excel at that. And most of these characters are pretty easy to pick up. We have characters like Fiora and Camille that are pretty strong. They're pretty good at that, but they're really hard to learn. Whereas a character like Renekton or Garen would be pretty easy to pick up. Very effective, very exploitative. You'll also notice that this is not a tier list of what I think is meta. A lot of the characters at the bottom of the tier list are meta characters and they're very strong in the game. They're just not that strong in low elo. Because we accomplish way more with these characters and we exploit the enemy mistakes way harder. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have characters like Nasus, Kayle, Shaco. These characters, guys, they don't do anything. Early game, that is, at least. Kayle needs to farm, and she needs to get like level 16 before she can do a single thing in the game. And by that point, the game is probably decided. You've either won or lost the game. It's better to play something early like I keep reinforcing. We also don't want to play something like Shaco. It doesn't do anything, guys. It's very useless, right? We don't want to play useless characters like Heimerdinger and just passively farm in lane. That's not how we win, right? We all know how coin flip the game can be in terms of teammates, right? Sometimes you have a really good team, sometimes you have a really bad team. We don't want to be passively farming on Heimerdinger, hoping our team doesn't int. Because as everybody knows, it's just up to chance. So, let's play characters like Kled, like Aatrox, like Tryndamere, who can just rush down our opponent, get a lead, and take over the game. Moving on to jungle, we have characters like Rengar, Echo, Talon, all at the top. Why? What makes these characters different than these ones? Well, when Graves has a lead, he just 1v9s. When Ivern has a lead, his shield is a little bit stronger. We don't care about shielding our allies. We're not here to support them. We don't want to tank for them. We're not trying to frontline for our ADC. That's assuming our ADCs even knows how to spell the word ADC, right? Most of the time they can't, guys. We all know ADCs are droolers, right? We got to play characters like Kha'Zix, right? That can just get a kill, snowball, take over the game, one-shot everybody, and win the game solo. That's the key thing, guys. It's called solo queue for a reason. We got to play this game like it's solitaire. We don't want to rely on allies, right? We want to remove them from the equation altogether. We want it to just be us vacuuming up as much gold as we can, and then using that lead to dominate. Moving on to mid lane, we have Assassins all at the top, Zed, Talon, right? These characters, your opponent make one mistake, you just one-shot them and kill them. They roam really well too, so you can exploit the enemy ADC for walking up too much. Or if someone's out of position, you can capitalize and kill them. These characters just function without a team. They play solo. That's what we want. We don't want characters like Aurelion Sol that just take so long before they can do a single thing. We also don't want a lane bully like Syndra. Syndra's good, don't get me wrong, and you could play her if you like her. But honestly, I think that mages, they could be avoided Like, people will just never walk up to Syndra, and they'll just farm safely. Whereas a character like Qiyana will tower dive you. You walk up one time, you just instantly die. And that's what we want, right? We don't want to just only get a little bit of HP with Syndra QE. We want to take all their HP with a Yasuo all-in or a Talon all-in combo. And yeah, these characters that in all these tier lists, you're going to notice something. They're all very hard to play. That's because there's a lot of outplay potential and there's a lot of things you can do with these characters. So you got to make sure that you pick up one or two and you study them and you learn all you can, because it's very hard to play more than one character in this game. Moving on to bot lane. Once again, guys, all the farming characters that take a long time before they do anything are all at the bottom. We want fast, strong, heavy hitters like Draven. Samira has a reset. We all know that Samira can just pentakill like nothing. Kalista, such a strong character with so many good matchups. Tristana, resetting her W. Guys, we don't want to farm. This is not a farming game. This is a go game. It's an active game. It's a fight game. Right? We want to brawl with our opponent. When they mess up, we want to take their life. And then finally, supports, which you notice all the enchanters are at the bottom. Like Yuumi, like Soraka, like Sona, even Lulu is in the B tier. These characters don't do anything if you have a bad team. It doesn't matter how much you're shielding or how well you're peeling for your ADC when they're playing with their monitor off. We want to play a character like Pyke or Pantheon or Nautilus that can just flash on someone, stun them up, ult them, and kill them. Basically all on our own. Like Pyke can do that. Pyke can just solo enemy ADCs like they're nothing. Same thing with Pantheon. And these characters can also roam really well. If I'm playing Lulu and my ADC is trash, I can't really roam as much as I would be able to if I was Pyke. Because Pyke has high mobility, and his gank setup is so much better than someone like Lulu or Janna. And Pyke also has a built-in passive that gives allies gold when he ults someone, which is extremely valuable in solo queue. You're just giving out free gold. You're able to reset your R as well. Pyke can get pentakills, no problem. That's what we want. We're not trying to play Shen and RR ADC when they're in danger, right? So hopefully by now you understand that the whole point of this exploit is we want aggression, strong characters that do a lot early. And if I missed a champion or two, just let me know and I'll let you know my thoughts on them in the comments. Moving on. Tip number 2 is the wave exploit strategy that I'm going to show you. While I'm getting into a custom game, I'm going to talk to you about wave management. I could probably make a whole video on how to manage waves like a pro. But the whole focus of this video is not going to be just on waves. It's going to be on the most basic strategy that you can implement. Even if you're brand new to the game, you're brand new to wave management, you have no idea how to wave control, that's okay. We're going to make this very simple. I'm going to break it down for you. This one strategy that you can do every game. And hopefully, if you master it, you can exploit enemies, as you're going to see why. My game is loading up. So, you can do this every lane. Doesn't matter if you're top, mid, or bot lane. You can do this any role. What we're going to do is we're going to fast forward till minions are here. And we're going to talk about the benefits of the strategy as I'm doing it. So, let's keep this very simple. There's going to be 2 things that we have to do. The first thing is going to be slow pushing the wave, level 1. Well, what is a slow push? It means we're going to slowly push the wave. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're not going to like queue everything. We're not going to try to like auto every time we can. We're just going to slowly push the wave in by autoing very lightly and, you know, maybe queuing once, right? We don't want to push too fast. As you can see, I'm already pushing a little bit fast. Normally there'd be an enemy champion that's also, you know, autoing the minions back. But right, we don't want the wave to go in this fast. As you can see, I pushed a little bit too hard, and yeah, we don't want the wave right here because it's hard to implement the second step, which is hard pushing the second wave, right? No, normally the wave would be in the middle. I messed up a little bit. Assume the wave's in the middle, right? We're just gonna hard push this wave in, get all the minions in, use our spells, use our auto attacks. Perfect. Slow push the first wave, hard push the second. Now we have the wave crash into enemy tower. Well, what does this do? It creates what's called a bounce. As you can see, this minion wave, my wave, continues to march forward, and this wave stopped to help defend the minions from the tower. And now, as you can see, I'm not even gonna last hit. I'm gonna show you. This is all autonomous. This red wave is going to just beat the crap out of these blue minions. Because the next reinforcement wave that's coming is gonna get there faster for the red side. Because the wave is on their side. So, you see how these minions get here first? They're gonna help out in the fight and they're gonna slaughter this blue side. And the blue minions are gonna get here super late and they're gonna come to a losing battle. And now, as you can see, we have a huge wave on the red side that's coming into us, okay? So all we had to do was slow push the first wave, crash the second wave, hard shove it, right? And now we have the third wave and we let it come back to us. So that means we're not gonna kill the minions, right? We're gonna get all our last hits, but we're not gonna like hard push, right? We're gonna just let the wave come back to us. And the wave state's gonna look like this, okay? And this is a perfect wave state. Because we have the wave on our side near our tower, and the enemy has to walk up so far in order to get their last hits and in order to push this in. This is around the time that a jungler can start ganking. It's going to be like 245 in a real game. This works even better top lane and bot lane because the wave will be even longer. Like the lane will be longer. You're going to have more room to run down your opponent when they mess up. It allows you to zone your opponent from the wave because if they walk up and you're playing a character like Pantheon, you can force a trade and run them down. Like let's say we're top lane and we do this. The wave's going to be right here. Look at all this room you have to run down your opponent if they mess up. Mid lane, we have easy ganks from this angle, or this angle and this angle for our jungler. Because look at where the wave is. Let's say all the minions die. We want to tank the wave, drag it over here to the right. And then now we reset the position. This is what a freeze is. And, you don't want that many minions in a freeze. You'd want to kill some off because there's way too many. But that's the idea. And that's the exploit. We can do this every single game without fail. And we can exploit our opponent every single time. It just creates such a... Oh, another thing is you can't get ganked. If I didn't mention that. Not only does it set up ganks, but you can't get ganked yourself. It's just an amazing position to be in. Alright, tip number 4. We're going to be talking about the practice tool. The practice tool is the most easy way to get familiar with your character and familiar with characters that you don't really know how to fight. Let's say you get your ass handed to you by an enemy character and you're like, well, I have no idea what they did. Well, load up a game of that character in the practice tool and learn what they do. You can learn all of their abilities, you can read what they do, and you can feel it out for yourself. You can also try out new characters that you don't really know what they do, and maybe you're interested and you want to learn a thing or two. You can go in the practice tool. Or if you're playing a very hard character to play, you can learn some combos and practice them by looking up a video and then going in the practice tool and learning it and getting the execution down. Like for example, Kaldikin E and then R, and that's something that you'd have to practice before doing it. You could also learn some wave management by practicing what I just taught you in a custom game. Load it up just like I did. Slow push the first wave, hard shove the second wave, and let the third wave bounce. And try to keep the wave frozen outside of your tower. Or if you want to practice jungle, you can practice how to full clear. This tip, it seems kind of self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised. I've been coaching this game for a long time. And a lot of people have never even gone in the practice tool a single time, which I think is very silly. You got to take advantage of something that is as valuable as the practice tool. Back in the day, there was no practice tool. And if you wanted to learn something, you had to go in a custom game and farm up until you're level 6 and wait for your cooldowns to come back before you could, do the combo you wanted to learn. So take advantage of something as simple as the practice tool. Exploit number 3, F keys. I'm going to lock in Echo. I'm going to set up a scenario for you. Let's say you're jungling as Echo and you are clearing, and while you are clearing, you have kept your camera on you the entire time. And you have no idea what the other lanes are looking like and how any of your lanes are going. Do you think that you're going to be able to accomplish much as a jungler if you have only tunnel vision on yourself the entire game? Probably not. Because you need to know what's going on. You need to see what's happening in their lanes. You need to see if they're gankable or not. You need to see if someone's used spells. You need to see if they have their cooldowns up. You need to see if they have their ults, right? And all that information is available by using your F keys. So I've loaded up another practice tool game, and you're going to see what they do and why they're so efficient. While I'm clearing, I don't want to just do this the whole time, right? I don't want to move the camera to my allies like this by using my mouse. That's very, very ugly to do. Instead, we're going to use our function keys. By default, F1 puts the camera on your character. I've changed it so that F1 puts the camera on the first character in tab, which is Fizz. F2 does Vayne, F3 does Blitz, F4 does Braum. So we can take a look at all of these characters with the ease of one button. Take advantage of this. It's such an easy way to get better camera control and better awareness. So like while we're clearing, right, we can Q auto the blue buff, for example, then put F1 and watch our Fizz play lane for a little bit, put the camera back on ourselves. Or if we're playing mid lane and we're pushing in a wave, and we want to go roam top or bot, we can have our camera on bot lane, seeing what's happening. Or if we're playing jungle and there's a fight, right, we want to be able to see what's happening. We can watch the fight. Or if we want to gank bot lane, right, for example, we can path to bot. And while we're pathing, we can press F5 to look at our bot laner and see what's happening bot lane. It's a very simple exploit. Make sure you take advantage of it. Tip number 3 is going to be, tip number 4, excuse me, is going to be for junglers. Let's talk about jungle for a little bit. A lot of people have many misconceptions about jungle. They think it's a role where you're supposed to be helping allies, and that's your sole purpose. Helping allies, getting objectives. But no, our strategy is going to help ourselves. What we're going to do as junglers is we're going to full clear every single game. And we're going to also play for our bot lane every single game. Why? Because in bot lane, there are 2 vulnerable characters, at least 1 vulnerable character, an ADC, and oftentimes 2 vulnerable characters if they have someone like Seraphine or Nami, that are very easy to gank. And there are also 2 kills. Whereas top lane, if we play for top lane, or if we play for mid lane is a small lane, it's very hard to gank for. Top lane has characters like Tahm Kench, Garen, very slippery or tanky characters, or oftentimes characters like Alawi that can 1v2. We don't want to mess with that. Our gank percentages top lane go down. Bot lane, our gank percentages go up in terms of their success rate. And we get more out of it because we get 2 kills. If we can go bot lane and get a double kill, we've affected 3/5 of the game because ourselves got a kill, our 2 allies got an assist, and their team got behind because you killed 2 allies. Whereas if you go top lane, you're only getting 2 people ahead, yourself and your top laner. We also want to note that full clearing is the best thing you can do every game, every time. We don't want to just do 3 camps, then gank bot. We want to full clear the jungle and then gank bot. So we always want to start top side, do our blue, Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, Red, Krugs, and then gank bot. It doesn't work out? No problem. We recall, we go back top side, Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, Krugs, bot lane again. Only want to gank after we full cleared. We only want to do objectives after we full clear. Because this is an exploit because the enemy jungler is going to be wasting a lot of time doing nothing. Whereas we're always going to guarantee get XP and gold, and we're not going to rely on our laners to play ganks out properly. Another thing is low elo players have a misconception on whether or not they can get a kill, so they'll be wasting their time going to like losing fights or unkillable lanes, just not getting anything from it. Whereas if we full clear, we're guaranteed to get resources, and we will always be strong, whereas if we gank, it's dependent on so many factors. So this exploit, full clear to bot, gank it, then reset, full clear again, gank bot, then reset, full clear again, gank bot. Easiest way to play jungle. I promise you, you will just print LP. Tip number, I don't even know what tip we're on. I think 6. Exploiting trading factors. A trading factor are conveniently listed out for me right here. I'm going to show you guys what they look like. All of these things right here are trading factors. They're factors that determine whether or not you're going to win a trade. And these things are very important to pay attention to. Let's start off with the most simple one, level advantage. This is not only the most simple, but it's also the most important one. Why? Well, if we have a level on our opponent, let's say we're level 3 and our opponent is level 2, we have access to our whole kit. we have 3 spells. My opponent only has 2. So off of that premise alone, I'll be able to do my full trading rotation, whereas my opponent can only do 2 of the 3 spells, and I'll probably just win the trade off of that alone. And we're going to get level advantage every time, because we're going to be pushing the first wave in every time. So we're going to hit level 2 first, and when we level up, we want to immediately go in and start a trade and try to kill our opponent. On characters like Talon, you can oftentimes just kill your opponent level 2, because they'll walk up and you just full combo them. Whereas a character like Kayle, if she gets level 2 first, she's not going to really do much with that level advantage, because her skills are way worse. So that's once again why we're playing characters like Talon and Pantheon, and not scaling characters. And, like I said, Talon can literally kill someone level 2, easily. Same thing with Zed, same thing with Katarina. They're just really strong characters when they have level leads. The other factors are pretty self-explanatory. We have more health than our opponent, well, we can probably just kill them. We have more mana than our opponent, well, they can't cast spells. If we have more minions on our side, they can't really fight us because they'll be fighting in our wave. If we are near our tower, they can't really get onto us if they're a melee character. If we have a jungler there, well, we want to trade because our jungler's coming to kill. If they have TP and we have Ignite, well, we probably have more all-in equity. Or if they use Flash, we can take advantage of that if we have Flash. If we have more gold than them because we've gotten roams and kills and stuff and we have better items, well, we're probably going to win in trades and we're probably going to beat them. If they just use... This is another big one, guys, in low elo. Oftentimes, our opponents will use abilities on the wave to farm, and when those abilities are down, well, we got to walk up and fight them because they have no spells. If we have all 3 of our spells up and they have 2 of them up, or 1 of them up because they just spammed it on the wave, well, we're just going to beat them. Not really mattering what the matchup is. We're just going to auto beat them. It's kind of how this game works. It's pretty self-explanatory. They just can't do anything, right? Matchup advantage. This is something that comes with game experience. You're going to learn when you have a good matchup and when you have a bad one. When you have a really good matchup, you want to trade a lot because your character is better. And yeah, you're going to win interactions because your match is better. This is not something that I can just, it would take literally years to explain every matchup. You just have to learn that yourself. You're going to learn what counters your character. And you're also going to learn what you counter. For example, if I'm Pantheon and you're Kayle, well, my spells do so much damage to you level 1, or level 3, you have a W that heals you and makes you go faster. It's going to be a really hard matchup for Kayle, and I'm going to just win every trade, so I'm going to be attacking and attacking and attacking. And you're going to be running away. Otherwise, you're going to die. Position advantage. This is talking about whether or not your opponent is, against terrain. If your opponent is sitting close to a tower or close to a wall, it's really easy to throw skill shots at them because they have no choice but to take the skill shot. They can't dodge left since they're against terrain. So you can just throw the skill shot directly at them, and there's not much they can do to dodge it. And then the last thing you can take note of is melee versus ranged. If you're playing a character like Quinn top and you're against someone that's strictly melee like Olaf, right? You can harass them a lot and beat them pretty easily because you have a range advantage. Moving on to tip number 7. Watching better players. The easiest way you can learn this game is by watching. You can just look up on YouTube any character you want, and I'm sure you can find so many content creators. It also makes the game more enjoyable to play, because when you find a content creator that you enjoy watching, it's really easy to learn from them. I recommend that you try to find Chinese players, because they're typically better than NA. Most of the time, NA players are going to be making content for jokes and memes and stuff, whereas Chinese players are going to be making content for strictly learning the game. So for example, I've brought up Beifong. He's one of the best players in the game on Qiyana, and we have a video of him playing pulled up. We can watch him lane, we can see what he does, we can see the combos he does. Here's a perfect example, by the way, of one of the things I was talking about in terms of trading. Right here, we can see that Talon is going for this cannon, and we can see that Beifong realizes this. When Talon throws W, he EQs, WQs the Talon, and takes a lot of Talon's HP bar. We learned right, what combo we should have used if we're the Qiyana here. We also saw him take, right, we can go back and see, well, why is Talon pressing W on the wave? Oh, the cannon's low. And we can learn, well, when minions are about to die, we can take advantage of this and attack our opponent. And now, if we had no idea how to play Qiyana and what her combos are, well, we learned one. We can write it down. EQ, W, Q. Right? And he threw an auto there after the EQ. So, you can watch these highlight videos, or you can watch montages, or you can watch full gameplays. Make sure that you're studying. Make sure that it's productive watching, right? You don't want to just watch a content creator and just, turn your mind off. You want to see, why is he doing what he's doing? You want to go back over and over, see the combo he's doing, see what it got him, see if he made mistakes. These guys aren't perfect, right? Take a note of all you can. The builds that they're building, right? All the items that they're buying, all the keystones they're taking, how they feel about matchups. They might commentate on what on their thoughts. You can just become a sponge and soak up as much knowledge as possible. And I guarantee you will learn a new thing about your character that you didn't know. I like to watch games in between queues, or sometimes I just don't end up playing League for the day and I just use my free time to watch videos. And there's, like I said, there's ample content for every character that you could think of. Tip number 8, watching our replays. We don't want to just watch better players. We want to watch our own games. But, like I just said, we don't want to just watch it with a counterproductive mindset. We want to use a good thought process that will make us learn a lot. And this thought process has us asking particular questions. Like, why did I take the damage that I just took? Why did I just die? Why did I lose this trade? How could I have maximized my use here, or my damage here, or my combo here, right? We want to ask questions like this. These questions will lead to productive information. Whereas if we ask questions like, why is my team feeding? Or we look at our teammates and all we're focused on is our teammates playing bad, or we're watching our bot lane matchup and our support ends up dying or missing an ability, and we focus on that and tunnel vision on that. That's not going to make us learn the game. We want to instead, like I said, focus on things like this. The most simplest thing you can do is just look at all your deaths. Why did I die here? Was I up too far? Did I miss an ability? What could I have done not to die here? That's something that will give you a lot of insight as to how you play the game. Maybe, you watch yourself die one time top lane, and then you die 5 more times after the first death, and you realize, wow, I'm a tilted kind of player. I need to stop tilting. I need to focus up. Or maybe you'll see a combo that the enemy did that you didn't know was possible, and now you learn something new about the enemy matchup that you didn't know. I like to review almost every game. I think it's a really good thing to do when you're first starting out. Just go back and watch every game, rewind, study, take notes, and you'll learn a lot, I promise. That's what I did to get better at this game. I probably spent more time reviewing than actually playing the game. And finally, we have our last tip, which is mentality. This game is a very tilting game. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. You can get bad teammates, you can get bad matchups, you can get your character banned from you. You have to just push through all the pain. I know it can be very tilting. I know it can feel like you're wasting your time all of the time when you have someone that's AFKing or whatever. But in the long run, if you follow all my advice, you study your own gameplay, you watch better players, you will come out on top with a higher win rate. You will become a better player, and you will learn how to crush your opponents. If you go into every game and you blame and you point fingers and you don't acknowledge mistakes and you focus on your allies for their mistakes, you're not going to learn anything. And you're going to limit yourself. You don't want to do that, and you don't want to become that kind of player. You always want to go into every game thinking, how could I have done better? How, even if you win, right? You can still review a winning game. You could see, when you won lane, did you win as hard as you could have? Did you miss any kills? You want to get max value for your leads. So always go into every game humble, knowing that you're not the best. Turn off chat, right? It's another thing. That could be a tip on itself. Turning off your chat. I mute all every single game. I don't think it's worth looking at players typing to you. It's just a lot of times just negative comments and critiques about how you're playing the game. So, like I said, get that mentality checked and stop blaming other people. Stop pointing fingers. Point them at yourself. Look at your mistakes. See what you could have done better. And I promise you, you will become a better player. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me any comments on any feedback or any questions. I hope you have a splendid rest of your day.